Ms. Reed, it is this court's understanding that you are going to be pleading guilty to the charge of operating while intoxicated. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail, $500 fine plus court costs. Understand that? You're on probation at the time of this offense?
Yes,
In
sir.
April?
Yes, sir.
All right, I do have to advise you then your plea could be a violation of that probation. You understand that?
So now, let's see how Judge Simpsons handled different repeat offenders. Starting with Miss Reed, caught drinking on bond, and now tying it all on the pain of losing her father. Truly, grief can get real messy, but it still shouldn't be an excuse for repeating the same mistake. Let's see how the judge handles this.
Thank you. Your Honor. Okay, thank you.
Let's call the case. People versus Kamar Reed.
Morning again, Your Honor. Dan Guerin on behalf of Kamar Reed. She's stepping forward.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, Ms. Reed is here, I believe, for a pretrial and a bond violation. In however order Your Honor would like to proceed, she will be admitting to the bond violation and then ultimately pleading guilty as charged. So however Your Honor would like to approach that.
Well, she's admitting to the violation.
She is, Your Honor.
All right. Is that correct, ma'am? Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Thank you. All right. And what are we doing on the case?
She's pleading as charged, Your Honor.
She's pleading.
Yes.
Yes, sir. May I have her sworn?
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, self you got.
Yes.
State your name.
Kamar Reed.
All right. Ms. Reed, it is this court's understanding that you are going to be pleading guilty to the charge of operating while intoxicated. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail, $500 fine plus court costs. Understand that?
Yes.
The court could also order any community service or rehabilitative service if the court deems necessary. The court could order your vehicle immobilized, could order you to pay the cost of the prosecution as well as the cost of any emergency governmental services. You understand that? Yes?
Yes.
All right. Still wish to plead guilty?
Yes.
And to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Now, you understand that by pleading guilty, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes.
You signed an advice of rights form?
She didn't, Your Honor, because she's in custody. I could have her do that now, or we could do that verbally, however you prefer.
Okay, you recall signing an advice of rights form, ma'am?
Yes.
Any questions regarding any of those rights?
No.
You'll see on the podium, I need you to look at paragraph 5. Those are your rights which are part of a trial. You understand that by pleading guilty, you'll be giving up those rights as well as all the rights on that.
Yes.
You understand you're giving up your right to appeal of right.
Yes.
Are you on probation or parole?
No.
Has anybody promised you anything other than what's been stated here today to get you to plead?
No.
Anybody threaten you or coerce you?
No.
You're doing this voluntarily
Yes.
of your own free will
Yes.
and because you believe that you are indeed guilty of this offense?
Yes.
November 27, 2024, location of Carpenter near Chester Drive in Pittsfield Township, Washtenaw County, State of Michigan. Were you operating a motor vehicle?
Yes.
All right. Prior to operating that motor vehicle, did you consume intoxicant?
Yes.
What did you have and how much?
I had a couple of seltzers.
Seltzers? All right. Were you stopped by the police or was there an accident?
I was stopped by the police.
Why'd they stop you?
My lights were off.
All right. Were you ultimately arrested?
Yes.
Were you taken to the station?
Yes.
Was there a blood draw or a blood test?
Both.
Blood draw?
Yes.
All right. What were the results of that blood draw?
I would stipulate for the plea, it was a .09 blood test.
You have any reason to dispute those blood test results?
No.
No? All right. I do have to advise you that if I do accept your plea, if you commit misconduct between the time of my acceptance of the plea and the time of sentencing, that any evaluation or sentence agreement, the court would not be bound by. You understand that?
Yes.
I also would have to indicate that if you do commit misconduct during that period, you would also not be entitled to withdraw your plea. You understand that?
Yes.
Counsel, I guess the first question is, have there been any promises, threats, or other inducements which have led to this plea which have not been stated on the record?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
And has the court complied with the court rule, and would it be proper to accept this defendant's plea?
Your Honor, I would say for the record, just so it's clear, the stop happened just after midnight. So the stop for no headlights is a valid stop. I think that they would stipulate that it was dark outside.
I
But
don't.
other than that, I'm satisfied.
We're satisfied as well, Your Honor.
All right. Court will accept the defendant's plea of guilty to this charge. Is referred to Von Swartz for an alcohol screening and assessment and the victim's impact panel. Sentencing in this matter will be July 9th, 2025. At what time? 9 a.m. All right. either as to bond, but as to the violation.
The violation first, Your Honor, my client would waive her right to a hearing and be prepared to admit to drinking and ready to do that this morning.
All right. And that is correct, ma'am?
Yes.
You're waiving your right to a hearing?
Yes.
And you do admit, have you seen the violation report, ma'am?
No.
Okay, your counsel went through it with you, however.
Yes.
All right. And that there were on June 13, 2025, that you were drinking.
Yes.
Very good. Court will accept that admission. How long have you been in?
She turned herself in yesterday morning. Is that what time yesterday?
8 a.m.
8 a.m. yesterday morning.
How old are you, young man?
21.
How old are you?
21.
Where were you drinking?
My dad passed away a couple
Pardon?
years ago. My dad passed away a couple years ago, and I'm not handling it probably in the best way.
You were 19,
18.
18 when he passed away.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, was that where your drinking started or?
Yes.
Let me ask you this, I'm not gonna hold it against you, were you drinking a lot?
Yes.
Looking back on it, when you were drinking a lot, what do you think would happen for you? You probably don't know how to answer that question.
Yeah.
That's a tough question, isn't it? Suffice it to say, young lady, it would kind of make you forget and have the pain go away a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, are you in school?
Yes. I'm
Pardon?
supposed to go back next semester.
Did you finish up this semester?
No.
What happened?
I stopped attending my classes, so I had to withdraw.
Where were you in school?
It's my sophomore year,
At what school?
Eastern Michigan.
So when your dad passed away, had you already enrolled in school?
Yes.
And you made it through how many semesters after that?
2, and then I took a gap year, and then I went back.
Those 2 semesters that you took, how were your grades?
They were pretty good. I think I had a 3.2, 3.5.
Okay. You took the gap year, then you came back. How were your grades?
Okay, I think I had like a 2. I
Pardon?
think I had a 2.8 when I came back.
Where'd you graduate high school?
In high school.
Okay. Did you do well there? You got siblings?
I have a twin brother.
You have a twin brother.
Yeah.
Okay. What?
It's with mom in the corner of the courtroom.
Mom's on? Oh, okay. So what do you think I should do with you? Well, before you answer that, let me ask you this. As you were going along struggling, trying to deal with your father's passing and things, did you let your mom know?
A little, but
Pardon?
not as serious as it had gotten. I don't think.
What about your brother?
I think he noticed.
You think he noticed?
Yeah.
Probably because he's your brother and also a twin, he probably did. Probably felt it. Did you reach out to anybody?
I've been seeing a therapist weekly.
You were?
Yes.
Okay. So how long have you been doing that?
I was seeing one I've been seeing her for like 7 years, and then I've been seeing one who specializes in grief for the last 3 months, I think.
Okay. So something that you started heading in that direction, dealing with. Okay. How's that working for you?
It's going okay. I think I've been thinking about seeing someone else.
Pardon?
I've been thinking about seeing someone else. I don't know if it's a good fit.
Okay. So your therapist might not be fitting with you, right? Okay. All right. Now I'll get back to you. What do you think I ought to do with you?
Sure, I guess whatever punishment fits.
Give you a chance to prove you can stay sober.
Yeah. A chance to prove I could stay sober, I think.
You think you can?
Yes.
That wasn't real confident the way you said that.
I want to. And I think that I can.
Young lady, why do you think I asked you all of those questions?
See why I did it, I guess.
Here's the thing that you don't understand and are just beginning to kind of explore. Grief is a horrible thing in a lot of ways. It becomes real bad if you don't deal with it. It kind of just sits there and then at some point, while you try to sort of bottle it up and push it down, it somehow or another just all of a sudden begins to explode, right? And then at some point, because you're not dealing with it, you're kind of out of control. And then it becomes harder. At the beginning, you probably could have told somebody, but by that time, you don't tell anybody because it becomes hard to explain, right? And it becomes real difficult to, no matter how close somebody is, even talk to anybody because they're not, you don't know if they're going to listen or they're going to have time to listen. And the reality of all of that is what you want is you just want that hurt and other things to disappear, right? Were you close to your dad?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna guess, but I know I'm right because I'm always right. But I'm gonna guess that you were daddy's. All right. Look, more than anything, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't always talk about myself, but I'm gonna tell you why I asked the question. Here I sit all these years later. I lost my dad when I was 16. So when I'm asking you those questions about grief, I get it. Okay. I'm going to let you know that if you find a way to kind of deal with it, you're going to make it through it. Okay. I didn't know your dad, but I can almost bet that he'd want you to make it through. He wouldn't want you trying to do this, trying to deal with all of this on your own. Okay. So in the interim, how am I going to keep you sober? Young lady, there's just right now, and partially because of the age you are, partially because of what you've been dealing with, a lot of things in life are real confusing right now, right? You're not sure the next step that you're taking, what direction that's going to head or what you're going to do, right? Okay, here's a suggestion I'm going to make to you. I want you to take whatever steps you're taking slow. I'm watching your mother over there. She's goosenecking trying to look over Miss Pilara's head, but your brother has been right all up in it. Okay. What that tells me is you got a family out there that'll just love you, they'll support you. And if you hadn't told them, probably after today, they'll sit for whatever time and just listen to you. Okay. And as you let it pour out to them, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to come out wrong. It's going to come out crazy. You may think yourselves crazy as it's coming out, but just let it come out. Okay. Said she turned herself in yesterday.
Yesterday morning, yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. I indicated defendant is admitted to violation. I don't think it does any good to keep you incarcerated at all. All right. So I'm going to sentence you on that violation to 2 days in jail, credit 2 days use. I'm going to let you go. I am going to, however, order that you report over to the Department of Community Corrections. We're going to put a scram tether on you. Okay? You got that?
Yes.
All right. You are going back to school in the fall. That might have sounded like a question. It wasn't. Okay. And that you can take that as an order. You're going to go back. You're going to just sort of walk that journey through life and do that. Okay? You hear me?
Yes.
And I'll sign that scram order and we'll get you over there. All right, young lady?
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, you're welcome. And most importantly, sometimes what you just have to do, you just have to be kind to yourself. Got it?
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You. Mom, guys, take care of yourselves. I don't know if you heard that, but she's getting out today. You're welcome.
So here we have Miss Morgan, caught in a mess, disorderly conduct, harassment, and stalking all tangled into one. Let's see how this plays out.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Penny on behalf of Miss Morgan, who is approaching.
Your name?
Caitlyn Morgan.
All right. This is special time set for sentencing in this case.
Yes, Your Honor.
You know, we did review the pre-sentence report. We have no material changes, additions, or deletions. I did review the recommendation with Miss Morgan and we do ask that you adopt it, and I would like to make a few statements on Miss Morgan's behalf when appropriate.
All right. Just so that we're also clear, did you review, there was a victim's impact letter that was sent? Were you able to review that also, counsel?
Yes, I think there were two original, and then I got an initial one this morning, and I was provided that from the victim's advocate.
All right. And I know that the victim in this case is present. My understanding is she at one point wanted to make a statement. I don't know if this letter is.
Your Honor, I believe that provided she just decided to provide you the statement in writing, so she.
All right.
That's the understanding of the people as well, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
Your Honor, today is a special time for sentencing, and I want to start out by thanking Your Honor, as well as Ms. Pilara, in considering some additional information that I provided to her. It was a 22-page memo, so it was quite lengthy. And again, I do thank her for considering this information. I did want to, again, there was a lot of stuff that's provided on the record, and I do want to focus on some mitigating information on behalf of Ms. Morgan. In December, I first want to address her health. In December 2024, she got into a very serious car accident. She's in the hospital for some time and is still dealing with those repercussions. She's seeing both a neurological doctor for the effects of her nerve damage, and she's had one surgery on her arm, and is scheduled to get an additional surgery on that arm. It's not functioning properly, her arm. She does not have full range of motion. She did miss a post-op appointment while she was in custody. And when she gets out of custody, she'll be returning to see that doctor. She is trying to get disability because of that injury, and is engaged in another civil suit because of the crash. Even though she is having that difficulty with her arm, she is working and engaged in school. This semester she was at Ross Medical Center, studying to be a certified medical assistant. Her plan is to go to nursing school. She was working as a home health aide, for an elderly man. Her mother explained to me that she was essentially doing this job with one working arm, but needs to support her children and assist with the man's daily tasks. She is planning on, or is set to graduate from Ross Medical Center with her certification as a certified medical assistant. However, there's one last test she has to take that includes CPR, and because of her arm, she can't do that CPR portion of the test. She is engaged in mental health treatment. She has a psychiatrist that she sees monthly, and she's also engaged with who she's also engaged with talk therapy with. She does have the support of her family. I have been in communication over the last couple of weeks with her mom every couple of days. Her mother submitted a letter on her behalf, as well as her grandparents. Because of her injury, she does need a caretaker. She is moving in with her mother, so her mother can help her with her own daily tasks, as well as the care of her children. She has 3 children, 7, 2, and 1. Her oldest father died when he was young. So she's desperate to, get out of custody and get back to, she said he died when she was pregnant with the oldest. Given all of this, her engagement in mental health services, her physical health condition, her children, schooling, employment, I am asking the court to adopt this recommendation. She does have the support of her mother, who is here, and I think would like to speak to Your Honor. I've had multiple conversations with Morgan over the last couple of weeks, and I think she's quite desperate to change her life. She's already made some changes in the relationships in her life, and I think she's dedicated to the betterment of herself and her children's lives.
All right, very good. Her mother wanted to address the court.
Yes, if that's okay with Your Honor.
Where is she? Come on now. Hello.
Hi, Your Honor.
If I may, just one moment, Your Honor.
I'll try.
All right. Your name?
April Moylan.
All right, go ahead. What would you like to tell?
Your Honor, I'd like to tell you that Caitlyn is a good person. She has a good heart. She's active. We are active in 2 churches. We go monthly, feed the homeless down in Cass Park. As a matter of fact, a month before Caitlyn's bad accident, we were down in Cass Park handing out hot meals, essentials, clothing, whatever we could do to help the homeless. Caitlyn has 3 children, which I'm currently caring for. And it has been a hardship on me because I'm trying to work full time and care for 3 grandchildren. Instead of being the grandmother, I'm being the mother, which Caitlyn should be doing. I understand that Caitlyn's behavior has gotten her where she is, but Your Honor, this has been going on for 7 years with these 2 baby mama daddy drama. Okay, it's been back and forth. I just wish that Caitlyn gets herself together and stays away from the negativity. Her kids need her. They cry every day. My grandson wrote a letter to you. I don't know if you got it.
Yeah.
It was pretty sad, you know, to see him, you know, crying for his mom. And it's really hard on me. And I just ask that you find it in your heart to let my daughter come home.
Thank you. Anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Court has reviewed extensively the information that has been provided and looked it over, and the court does believe and will follow the recommendation of the probation department. In this case, I think it's well suited to kind of deal with a number of different issues that are sort of permeating this entire case. So it's the sense of the court. I will place you on 36 months probation. That's 3 years. You are to pay $655 fines and court costs, $1,080 probation oversight fees. That will be on a payment plan as arranged by probation. There is to be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You are to complete the life skills program. You're to enroll in that within the next 60 days. You are to attend individual therapy with status reports to probation. There is to be no contact with Sarah Tessier or her children directly or indirectly. You understand that, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
There is to be no use of social media whatsoever. Delete and or close all accounts on social media immediately upon your release. You understand that?
Can I ask one question? I have one page where I'm friends with my son's dad, and that's the only way I can see pictures of him and show my son. Is that okay if I just
See
keep
pictures of
his father, who's deceased?
I think if it's okay, Ms. Pilar and I can work something out.
That's the-
regarding that. I'm going to order that.
Yeah.
So because I think there's been an abuse of that, and so I am going to order that her social media accounts are to be closed and deleted. All right. You are not to assault, terrorize, frighten, intimidate, threaten, harass, molest, or stalk anyone. You are not to possess any weapons, firearms, ammunition, or anything fashioned to be a weapon. You are to comply with any and all circuit court orders if there are any. You are to contact probation within 24 hours of your release from custody and then report as directed by probation. I am going to order a GPS tether through community corrections with the exclusion zone. Are you indicating exclusion zone of the entirety of Washington?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, with the exclusion zone of Washington County. I'll schedule a review hearing on this matter for August 27, 2025 at 12 p.m. I will order 365 days in jail. Credit 17 days that you served. You're to serve an additional 14 days for the bond violation to date. And then the balance will be suspended with placement of a GPS tether as indicated prior to your release.
I'm sorry, I should have brought this up before, regarding the exclusion zone, and again, this is something that Ms. Pilar and I can work out. Her doctors, like her orthopedic surgeon is at Trinity Health in Ipsy, so we can, if the court's amenable to that, and Ms. Pilar, I can provide documentation regarding medical appointments.
Yeah, correct. And for medical, that's where her medical appointments are, that will be allowed. All right, but strictly for that medical or any other necessity that she has to have within Washington County, as she would be able to report to probation.
Correct, understood. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Court does call the case People versus Christopher Minor.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lawrence, hearing on behalf of Mr. Minor. Your Honor, I did attempt to make contact with Mr. Minor. I was unable to make contact.
Oh, those two separate groups there. Ma'am, all right, I'm gonna have you're with Miss Morgan, correct? You're with Mom and everybody. I'm gonna have you wait to let the others go.
Okay,
And then, okay, thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't stop there. This time, it's Miss Murray, facing paraphernalia charges, a double parking citation, and the worst part, a pending retail fraud. Let's see how the judge handles this.
1190 and anticipating appointment on the case ending 0617.
Your name?
Jaclyn Murray?
All right. I'll start with the new case, 0617. Ma'am, you are before the court on a misdemeanor complaint that alleges that on or about May 14, 2025, you were in possession of drug paraphernalia at the location of Harper Road in Pittsfield Township. You understand the nature of that charge, ma'am?
I understand.
All right. It's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days, $500 fine plus court costs. You understand that?
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. Do you wish to be represented by an
Yeah?
public defender case?
Thank you, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate, again, on behalf of Ms. Murray, we would waive any further reading, stand mute, and not ask for a bond at this time, Your Honor. I believe this case will be resolved today.
All right. So what are we doing?
So as to my two cases, Your Honor, Mr. Siller has extended an offer in which Ms. Murray was offered to admit responsibility to double parking in the case ending in 1190. And in exchange, the misdemeanor would be dismissed, and that then case ending in 0617 would be dismissed in its entirety. I did discuss that with Ms. Murray, and she would like to accept that offer today.
That is correct, Your Honor.
And what are we doing on the other case?
Your Honor, we are just asking for an adjournment. The people and I are trying to work out a global resolution involving some cases in some other courts.
That's
So we're asking
correct.
for an
There's a
adjournment.
pending retail fraud as well on 15th. So we're trying to see how it's all going to shake.
And when is that one set for?
I don't recall.
I have to, let me look it up. I don't have it.
I think it's the middle of next month, but I'll know here in a second.
I've got it right here.
Retail fraud is set for retrial on June 26th. Oh, June.
June 26th.
26, okay, so.
All right.
Next week.
So would it still give you enough time if I set this for July 2nd?
I
Should be.
think so, Your Honor.
I'll adjourn this matter then, that being the case ending in 1360, July 2nd, 2025, 9 a.m.
Thanks, Judge.
Bond will continue on that case. In the other case, Ms. Murray, do you admit responsibility to the fact that on or about August 2nd, 2022, at location on Washington Avenue in Pittsfield Township, Washington County, state of Michigan, that you double parked a motor vehicle?
Yes.
All right, court will accept that admission. That is in case 1190. That's count two. Count one is dismissed. And also case 167, ending in 167, is also dismissed.
It's 0617.
0617, okay. Is dismissed. On the double parking, fines and cost of $180. You're incarcerated. What I'll make that do is, I'll make that do 90 days after release.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you.
Judge.
It's outrageous how some think it's smarter to steal than to just buy what they can actually afford. This time, it's Mr. Smith. Court skips scanning nearly $300 worth of items. Let's see how the judge handles this.
Court does call the case People versus Andre Smith.
Ready, Your Honor.
Judge, the people.
And Your Honor, Joe Simon, on behalf of Mr. Smith, when you get up here, state your name, please.
Andre Smith.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I believe, well, sorry, we're here for arraignment as well. Waive
Yes.
formal reading of the complaint and stand mute.
Defendant have a waive formal reading, standing mute. Court will enter not guilty plea.
We're going to be making a travel request in a little while, but we've reached a resolution on the, with
All right.
respect to the pretrial.
That's correct, Your Honor. The defendant is going to be pleading guilty as charged with the prosecutor's deferred sentence.
Your Honor, that's accurate. Mr. Smith and I reviewed his advice of rights form today. He signed it. It should be before you, and he's ready to enter his plea. Just have a half a step forward, Andre.
May I have him sworn?
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name.
Andre Smith.
All right. So he's pleading guilty as charged with the prosecutor's deferred.
Yes,
sir.
All right. Sir, it is this court's understanding that you are going to be pleading guilty to the charge of retail fraud in the second degree. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year incarceration, $2,000 fine plus court costs. The fine could be increased at 3 times the value of the property taken. If that's greater than $2,000, that would become the maximum fine. You understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Understanding all of that, you still wish to plead guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
And to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Now, you understand that by pleading guilty, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You signed an advice of rights form, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any questions regarding any of those rights?
I know, Your Honor.
Please look at paragraph 5 of that form. You'll see a copy of the further your right to which are part of a trial. You understand that by pleading guilty, you'll be giving up those rights as well as all the rights under the form. You understand you're giving up your right to appeal of right.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Are you on probation or parole?
No.
Has anybody promised you anything other than what's been stated here today on the record to get you to plead?
No, Your Honor.
Anybody threaten you or coerce you?
No, Your Honor.
You're doing this voluntarily
Yes, Your Honor.
and of your own free will,
Yes.
and also because you believe that you are indeed guilty of this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
I would also indicate to you that if I do accept your plea between the time of this acceptance of the plea and time of sentencing, that if you commit any type of misconduct as defined by the court rule, this court would not be bound by any type of sentencing agreement. That would include the prosecutor's deferred. You understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
You also would not be entitled to withdraw your plea. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. On the date of November 20th, November 20th, 2024, location of 7,000 East Michigan Avenue. What did you do at the Walmart that makes you think that you're guilty?
We were at the checkout line, and I had scanned some items and then moved some items away to not be scanned purposely. And the intent
All right, so you were skip scanning?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And the amount of the items that you skip scanned, was that in excess of $200?
I believe it was just under 300.
All right, so that's in excess of 200. Okay. You didn't have anybody's permission to do that, did you?
No, Your Honor.
The store was open to the public?
Yes.
All right. And these items that you skip scanned, these were items that were offered for sale by Walmart?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, counsel, I should first of all ask counsel, are there any other pleas, threats, or inducements that counsel would be aware of that have not been placed on the record that is led to this plea?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Has the court complied with the court rule and would it be proper to accept this defendant's plea?
People satisfied?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, court will accept the defendant's plea of guilty to this charge. Defendant is referred to probation for a pre-sentence investigation and report. Sentencing in this matter will be
July 30th, 2025 at 12 p.m.
July 30th, 2025. You said 9?
At 12.
12 p.m.
You'll be back, right?
The 29th, correct. I'll be back.
Your Honor, regarding travel, my client's girlfriend, who's actually on your docket in the next block because she's hearing impaired and needs an interpreter, is having a surgery in the state of New York. My client and she would like to travel to New York to have that, and they're staying for extended recovery time with her family in New York. His travel dates are July 3rd, returning July 29th, and he will be here. And I'll try to get his PSI done before that time, or ask if it could be done.
July, when are you leaving?
3rd to the 29th, pardon me.
To the July 29th. And that's to the state of New York.
Yes, Your Honor.
I will allow and give permission for the defendant to travel to the state of New York.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Wait from the outside.
Sure.
Okay.
Bond in this case.
Oh, sorry.
Bond in this case will be set in the amount of a personal recognizance $5,000 bond. I will order standard conditions, including no possession of any weapons and no assaultive behavior. I would also indicate the defendant at this time is not to possess or consume any alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal drug. I would indicate also that he is not to enter any Walmart in the state of Michigan. You understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Okay, this one is on Miss Berry, already tied to a DV case, now facing a second OWI after crashing Y-High on TCH. Let's see how the judge handles this.
Court does call the case, People versus Alexis Berry.
This is an arraignment pre-trial, Your Honor.
Your name?
Alexis Berry.
All right. You are before the court on a misdemeanor complaint that alleges that on or about April 10th, 2025, at the location of Ellsworth near Stone School Road in Pittsfield Township, Washington County, State of Michigan, that you did operate a motor vehicle while intoxicated. Do you understand the nature of that charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and $500 fine plus court costs. The court could order community service or any rehabilitative services the court deems necessary. The court could order your vehicle immobilized, could order you to pay the cost of the prosecution as well as the cost of any emergency governmental services. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. First question I have for you is, do you want to be represented by counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. It's a public defender case. I think you are represented by the public defender.
Correct, with my previous one which with you.
Public Defender Natalie Pate with and on behalf of Alexis Beery, who stands to my right, we would waive any further reading. My client would stand mute and ask that a not guilty plea be entered and ask for an adjourned pretrial date, please.
And in every way, formal reading, standing mute, court will enter a not guilty plea. Pretrial in this matter will be adjourned July 2nd, 2025, 9 a.m. As alleged BAC in this matter.
0.062. Oh, my bad. I apologize.
That's okay. Big knows.
Your Honor, if I could, the alleged BAC 0.062 and then the 10 nanograms of THC as well.
All right.
There's a prior in 2020. I did want to check with you if you have the updated charging documents indicating that this is the second offense.
I do not. When did you send that in?
We sent that in, I believe, late last week, so they should be coming to you soon.
I don't have the only complaint I have in the file is for OWI first.
Okay, this is the second offense. I believe we had requested an updated charging document to indicate that.
All right, so they'll be sending an amended complaint. Ms. Berry, you understand that?
Yes, I do. My first one was.
Well, I don't want to know that.
I got you.
I just need for you to understand that they're charging you with a second offense.
Yes.
All right, that's going to make this punishable by up to 1 year incarceration and $1,000 fine plus court costs. Everything else is the same. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, well, we'll await that, I guess. But there was a prior. When did you say the year on that prior was?
2020.
Okay. Was there an accident in this case?
There was a crash into the curb of the scene, resulting in disabling damage to the vehicle, Your Honor. So yes, there was a crash. Considering the crash and the BAC and the prior, we are requesting a scrap this time.
I guess I'm a little bit confused because when I look at this complaint, I have the location described as Ellsworth and Stone School, but then there is a reference to a Marathon gas station. And if I remember, there's not a Marathon gas station there on Ellsworth and Stone School. There's an almost.
A citizen operating the vehicle at the one location and then followed her to another location where she did crash into the parking lot of the Marathon gas station, is my understanding.
So the observation then took place. I guess I'm just trying to be clear. The observation took place at the Stone School Ellsworth location.
I believe so, Your Honor.
And then followed her all the way to the Marathon gas station. I'm not sure what Marathon gas station I'm talking about because that's.
I thought I had included the address on the complaint, the one on 54970 Washington, Your Honor.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
I see. All right. Okay, so there was an accident. All right.
If I may briefly, Your Honor, I would request a PR bond and I would ask that Alexis Berry not be on a scram tether at this time, given from what I heard the allegations are that she was intoxicated but under the legal limit and that the allegations were of marijuana. Given that, I would ask that a scram tether not be imposed. I would ask for a PR bond, and I did previously represent Ms. Berry on her previous case, and based on my prior representation of her, I had known her to not be a flight risk and to both come to court and comply with bond. I would ask for a PR bond and standard supervision, but ask that the scram tether not be imposed.
Your other cases are what type of cases are?
Your Honor, that was a DV, and my understanding is, and the people can correct me if I'm wrong, that this charge stems from that same discovery and alleged incident.
Okay. So just so that I'm clear, you can correct me if I'm wrong. The DV incident or alleged DV, that involves the use of alcohol or alcohol was
There was
consumed.
Yes, Your Honor. The allegations were that both cases stem from the same day and time and chain of
Right,
events.
but
So yes, Your
I've
Honor,
had two criminal events coming out of what may be the use of alcohol.
possibly, Your Honor, yes.
Possibly. All right. Anything from the people?
Yes, Your Honor, I'll just reemphasize that while the blood alcohol level was under the legal limit, the defendant was under the influence of 10 nanograms of THC. There is a prior from DOWI from 2020, and this did involve a crash, and this is why we're requesting a spring.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to set bond at a $10,000 personal recognizance bond. I'm going to order standard conditions, including no assaultive behavior or possession of any weapons. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
There's to be no use of any alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal drugs. I am going to order that the defendant is to report over to the Department of Community Corrections for two things. And that is that she's to report over and be placed on a SoberLink testing device. I'm not sure how long I'll have that last, but I want it on at least at this point in time. And then drug testing 1 time per week. And I will let you know that we can get levels, and the court's expectation is the THC in your system will exist, that will go down and become non-existent. You understand that?
If I may, Your Honor, if Ms. Berry was to have I don't know, I muted that, was to have a valid medical marijuana card and provide the needed documentation to community corrections, would she be able to continue using that as prescribed?
Does she have one now?
I do. I've had it.
I'm gonna have some concerns about that.
I've had it since I was 18. Since the 2020 charge. That's what I was trying to say. The 2020 OWI charge is from marijuana, not alcohol.
I'm gonna put her on testing. I've issued my order in terms of bond conditions. I'm not gonna get into an extended argument about of what the court can order regarding medical marijuana.
So just to clear my client So just so my client understands, Your Honor, no marijuana of any kind is your order at this time?
I've issued my order. I'm not trying to be I've issued my order. Thank you.
Understood, Your Honor. Thank you.
This time, we have Mr. Brick facing retail fraud charges. Let's see how the judge answers this.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, may I have him sworn?
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
State your name.
Daryl, Bridget. Sir, it is this court understanding you're going to be pleading no contest to the charge of retail fraud under the Pittsfield Township Ordinance. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days, $500 fine plus court costs. You understand that?
I do, yeah.
Do you understand what a no contest plea is?
Yes, sir.
Two things about it I have to make sure that you understand. The first thing is it means that you're not further desirous or wanting to contest this charge. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Second thing you need to understand is that for purposes of sentencing, the court will treat you the same as though you had pled guilty. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Basis for the no contest plea?
Potential civil liability.
Sir, to that charge, how do you plead?
No contest, guilty or not guilty.
No contact?
You understand that by pleading no contest, you'll not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, Your Honor.
You signed an advice of rights form, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any question regarding any of those rights?
No, Your Honor.
Please look at paragraph 5. You'll see a copy on the podium. Those are your rights which are part of a trial. You understand by pleading guilty, you'll be giving up those rights as well as all the rights on that form.
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand you're giving up your right to appeal of right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you on probation or parole?
No, Your Honor.
Has anybody promised you anything other than what's been stated here today on the record to get you to plead?
No, Your Honor.
Anybody threaten you or coerce you?
No, Your Honor.
You're doing this voluntarily
Yes,
of your own free will.
that's correct.
And because, well, I won't ask you that. Counsel, the court has been provided and has reviewed Pittsfield Township Department of Public Safety report for their case number 247634. Any objection to the court having reviewed that report?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
Sir, I do have to also advise you that if I accept your no contest plea between the time of today's date or its acceptance and the time of sentencing, if you commit misconduct as defined by the court rule, that any sentence agreement or sentence evaluation would no longer bind the court. You understand that? I wouldn't be bound by that. You understand that, sir?
I do, Your Honor.
You understand also that if you commit any misconduct, you would not be entitled to withdraw your plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Counsel, is counsel aware of any other promises, threats, or inducements which have resulted in this plea?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
All right. And based upon a review of the police report in this case, the court does find that there's a sufficient factual basis in which the court could determine the defendant's guilt of this offense. Counsel, have I complied with the court rule? Would it be proper to accept this defendant's plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, court will accept the defendant's plea of no contest to this charge. The case is ending in 0671, 0944, and 1267, all 2024 cases. Those matters are dismissed pursuant to the plea agreement. Defendant is referred to probation for pre-sentence investigation and report. Sentencing in this matter will be
July 7th, no,
July 9th.
July 9th, 2025 at 9 a.m.
July 9th, 2025, 9 a.m. Fine, we'll continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And finally, this one is on Mr. Brooks, who was already on probation but allowed someone else to drive illegally. Let's see how the judge handles this.
On behalf of Mr. Brooks, who stands to my right, please state your name for the record, sir.
Tom Brooks.
Thank you, Your Honor. There is a resolution in this matter to which Mr. Brooks will be accepting the offer of Mr. Siller of pleading to added count 2 of allowing an ineligible person to drive, and in exchange, count 1 will be dismissed. I did go over Mr. Brooks's advice of rights form with him yesterday in the jail, and he is now signing right there.
So, Your Honor, operating, allowing an ineligible person to operate MCL 257.326.
May I have it sworn?
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
State your name.
I'm Tom Brooks.
Sir, it is this court's understanding you're going to plead guilty to the charge of allowing an ineligible driver to operate a motor vehicle. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days in jail and or a $100 fine plus court costs. You understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
And understanding that you still wish to plead guilty?
Yes, sir.
And to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
You understand that by pleading guilty, you'll not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, sir.
You signed an advice of rights form, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Any questions regarding any of those rights?
No, sir.
Please look at paragraph 5 on that form. Those are your rights which are part of a trial. You understand by pleading guilty, you'll be giving up those rights as well as all the rights on that form. You understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
You understand you're giving up your right to appeal.
Yes, sir.
Are you on probation or parole?
Yes, sir.
You are? Probation? Were you on probation at the time of this offense?
Yes,
In
sir.
April?
Yes, sir.
All right, I do have to advise you, then your plea could be a violation of that probation. You understand that?
Sir.
If it is considered a violation of your probation, that court could sentence you to the maximum allowable under that other charge or charges. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Understanding that, you still wish to plead guilty to these charges?
Yes, sir.
Has anybody promised you anything other than what's been stated here today on the record to get you to plea?
No, sir.
Anybody threaten you or coerce you?
No, sir.
You're doing this voluntarily
Yes, sir.
of your own free will?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
And because you believe that you are indeed guilty of this offense?
Yes, sir.
On the date of April 6, 2025, the location of Washtenaw near Gulfside, Pittsfield Township, Washtenaw County, State of Michigan. Did you have custody or control of a motor vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Did you allow someone who was otherwise ineligible to operate that motor vehicle?
Yes, sir.
All right. You understand also, sir, that if I do accept your plea, and again, this, I'll be immediately sentencing you, so there would not be a period in time between acceptance of the plea and that, but if there were misconduct, you would not be able to withdraw your plea and any agreement with the court or any evaluation by the court. The court would no longer be bound by that. You
Yes, sir.
understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Counsel, had there been any other threats, promises, or other inducements that have led to this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
All right. Has the court complied with the court ruling? Would it be proper to accept this defendant's plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will accept the defendant's plea to count 2, count 1 is dismissed. Anything either you want to say before I impose sentence?
Just briefly, Your Honor, we'll note that Mr. Brooks has, I believe as of today, 34 days of credit. So I would ask the court would consider sentencing him to a credit for time served sentence. He is being held on other matters with his next court date being the 26th of this month.
Sir, anything you want to tell me?
Yes, sir.
Fines and costs of $250 that will be due and payable 90 days after release. Other 90 days in jail, credit 34, balance suspended. Thank you.
Honestly, sometimes the dumbest choices come from trying to do someone else a favor. But seriously, how hard is it to follow the rules when you are already on the court's microscope?
Thank you, Your Honor.